Hi, welcome to Bruce's Garage. I'm Bruce, and we're out front of the garage today getting ready to do an engine bay detail along with a full detail on this 2016 Jeep Wrangler behind me that definitely is ready for a detail. The engine is pretty dirty, and so I'm going to make this thing look like it's almost brand new. Now, have you ever thought about detailing your engine bay? Are you afraid of maybe damaging something? Well, I'm going to show you some steps you can take to safely and effectively detail your own engine bay and getting it looking brand new. So come on in and let's have some fun. Okay, so as we prepare to do this engine bay detail, I want to walk you through what equipment you're going to need and how I'm going to do this with the chemicals. So the first thing that you're going to need is just some plastic trash bags or grocery bags. These grocery bags really work well to cover any electrical connections, the electronic control module, the alternator, the air intake in the engine. So those are things that I cover to make this a very safe engine bay detail. Remember, we're not really trying to clean this thing to every little detail on every little nook and cranny of the engine. This is really the exposed surfaces. We're just trying to get clean and make it look really sweet, as well as being able to spot if there are any leaks or things around that you want to be able to see. But it really just gives a nice clean appearance. Then I'm going to use for my chemicals, I'm going to use a mixture of both all clean and a little bit of Incredible Suds in an IK foamer. You can do this many different ways, but I'm using these in a foamer. I'm also going to use the same mixture to clean the wheels of the vehicle. So I'm going to have about 2 liters of total mix, but I'm using the all clean concentrate. So the stuff you buy in the gallon mixed at 1 to 15. And then I'm going to put about an ounce of Incredible Suds in there as well. That's about 130 milliliters of all clean concentrate, 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of Incredible Suds, and the rest is water to give me up to about 2 liters or 2,000 milliliters. So that's my plan. I'm going to put it in the IK foamer here. I'm using the large IK Foam Pro 12. This works really nice, not only for the engine bay, but I use this a lot for wheels. As I prepare the engine bay to be cleaned, I want to review with you a couple things and options that you have. So number one is some people will say never to use a pressure washer. I do use a pressure washer. However, I try to stand back a bit, don't spray directly into any connections, and I use it just to try to do a light rinse. So I try to stay back. I use a wide fan nozzle and just be thoughtful about where I'm spraying and not being close. So that's how I use a pressure washer. The other option you have is to use a garden hose and have a nozzle just on a very light stream. So that is another option that you have that may even be ultra safe. So I do like to clean engine bays and have found it to be very successful and safe. One of the key steps to making sure that you safely are cleaning the engine bay is to cover certain electrical connections. So what I like to do is number one is I cover the alternator, and I will try to get you a close-up of that. You can't really see it. It's right under the cover here, but I cover that and I use these plastic grocery bags. So these are your friend. These are real simple. You don't have to get fancy with this. So for example, I've got an electrical connection here. It looks intact, but it's really exposed. And so it will get some cleaner and water. So I just take a simple plastic grocery bag, and I typically just try to wrap around that. And here is fuses. That's another sensitive area. I try to make sure this is sealed well, at least as best as I can tell. And then I can cover this as well if you wish. It's very dirty. So what I would do if I cover this is then I would just come back with all clean and clean that up manually where I'm not spraying a lot of fluid. So those are the couple areas. There's a couple other little minor electrical connections. On the electronic control module, I'll show you that. Anything that has a lot of electrical connections, I will cover and then more delicately clean those areas. But generally, this is a very safe procedure. The other area that I will cover, this is the engine air intake, and you don't want to get water in there. So I will wrap another plastic bag around that. So once you have the vehicle prepped with everything covered that you want to cover, the next step is really around using our mixture of all clean as well as incredible suds. I'm going to agitate some of these areas that I know are pretty dirty. This vehicle did not have any insulating barrier here under the hood. If it does, I try to really be very light on water in that because it just absorbs the water and it can that can be a really messy area, so I try to just leave that alone. All right, I'm going to give that a rinse and we'll see what that looks like. All right, so I'm leaving these areas still covered that I have, but now I'm going to spray some quick beads over these areas, and then we'll do a rinse off that, and we'll let it dry. I'm going to take my leaf blower and just blow off some of that excess water as well. If you want to get really fancy, you can use some tire dressing on the engine bay itself on those plastic and rubber parts, which I did because the parts were looking a little dull. They were clean, but just looking a little dull. And I wanted to see them kind of look a little bit better. So I just sprayed some DIY tire dressing on my microfiber applicator. And then I've been going around and just really coating these plastic surfaces. Doesn't hurt anything at all, but makes it just give that final great appearance. Well, that about does it for the engine bay detail. I hope you can see the real benefits and the beauty of a clean engine compartment. It just looks so much better. You can see the before and after here and just how clean and neat the surface looks. It's not a deep clean. We didn't go to every little nook and cranny. It's not perfect, but boy, it just gives that nice clean appearance under the hood, I think, is one of those details that makes a big difference. Remember, you can do this safely. Just protect those sensitive areas. Don't spray heavily into any part of the engine, particularly those electrical components. You want to protect those. And then I followed it up again with quick beads, and I also did a little tire dressing because I wanted to give that extra nice, clean appearance. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you've learned a few things about cleaning the engine bay. Maybe you'll give it a try for those 40% that were a little bit concerned about damaging. Give it a shot if you want to try that. And I really appreciate you watching. Please don't forget, if this was helpful or interesting to you, please give me a thumbs up. And of course, I would love it if you haven't subscribed. I've got a lot of great content on my channel and plan a lot more in the future. And you'll be able to see when I detail the outside of this Jeep Wrangler and how much better that's going to look too. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Remember, have fun in your garage and have fun detailing. Take care.